Hello, this is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series on the best professional sports teams that didn't win a championship during that season. This is part 4. I'll be talking about the 1992 um, Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers was a team that won 57 games. They finally got back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 2 years. Clyde Drexler averaged 25 points a game. He was on the All NBA first team, and they won their second consecutive Pacific Division title and their 10th consecutive trip to the NBA Finals. But they was able to get to the finals, but again lost to the Bulls 4-2. This was an interesting series because in the NBA Finals in '92, people felt that Michael Jordan had a rival finally that can rival him, and that was Clyde Drexler, because he was Clyde the Glide Drexler, because he could soar in the air, and dunk and do all those kind of things, and he was able to do that. And the thing is that the finals was going to show whether Clyde was that rival to Michael Jordan. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, because the first game set the tone when Jordan, hit 6 3-pointers, scored 39 points. He was able, the Bulls were able to win 122-89. And Jordan had 39 points and 11 assists. Also, he broke the record for most points that was, in the first half, that was held by Elgin Baylor. He had 35 points. He hit 6 3-pointers in the first half. And it was known for the shrug. After he hit the 6 3-pointer, he turned to the broadcast table and he just shrugged. Couldn't believe what he was doing. That shrug by Michael Jordan was something that was a staple, a mainstay in sports, NBA sports lore. That's something that people are always going to remember, that he did that. And that set the tone for the series. But the Blazers did get back into the series. They won game 2, 115-104 in overtime. Despite Jordan having 39 points, Portland got off to an 8-point lead in the first quarter, had a 9-point lead at halftime, but the Bulls, came back. Clyde Drexler at the time fouled out with 4:36 to go. The Bulls came back in the third quarter, had 7-point lead. Bulls was up 10 points, but Michael Jordan started to lose his poise, committed a foul, got a technical foul, and the Portland went on a 15-5 run, pushing the game to overtime. And they was able to dominate overtime when Danny Ainge scored 6 points with 1 minute remaining, as the Blazers won 115-104. At that time, that was the Bulls' worst home loss in the NBA Finals game. But the problem with the Blazers, and it was the same thing 2 years earlier in 1990 against the Pistons, that they wasn't able to take advantage of the home court advantage that they had at their disposal. Because they won game 2 against the Pistons, and then they lose 3 straight at home. 2 years later, they win game 2 after losing game 1. Only win 1 out of the 3 games at home. The Bulls won 2 out of 3, and they lost 94-84 because their offense was non-existent, especially in the second half. Portland was on a field goal drought. They didn't score from the 4:33 mark in the third quarter until the 9:36 mark in the fourth quarter. It was a 6-minute, 57-second stretch, and they lost 94-84. So they lost that game because the offense was non-existent. I give credit to the Bulls' defense. Their defense kept them from doing what they wanted to do, and they wasn't able to make things be in their favor, which wasn't good, because they had scored 84 points, 39 second half points, and only had 28 field goals. So those were franchise playoff lows at that time. And then they bounced back and they won game number 4, 93-88. Portland was still playing as they were doing game 3, not scoring for 4 minutes and finding themselves down 10-0. Then the Bulls would be up 22-9. So they got off to a bad start, the Blazers, but they was able to come back, found themselves in the third quarter, and they went on a 15-6 run to even the series. But the game changer was game 5 in Portland, and they lost 119-106. And the problem with these Portland Trailblazer teams, especially in this series, they didn't get off to the best starts at home. Game 3, they didn't get off to the best start. Excuse me. They did get off to a great start. Wait, hold on. Game 3, obviously their offense wasn't good, because in the first half, Chicago in game 3 went on a 30-13 run. The first half to gain a 40-30 lead, which Portland would cut to 3 with 7:09 left in the third quarter. But they didn't play well in game 3. They didn't play well in game 4, despite winning game 4. But in game 5, they played awful. They was down 10-2. The Bulls never looked back. They were up 16-8 as far as going on a run, open the second half, to give the Bulls a 20-point lead. And they was able to win 119-106, despite a bad ankle by Michael Jordan. He had 46 points, 14 out of 23 from the field, 16 of 19 from the line. And Scottie Pippen scored 24 points, had 11 rebounds, 9 assists. And Clyde Drexler had 30 points to lead 6 Portland players in double figures. And Portland had 18 turnovers and shot just 43.8% from the field. The Bulls shot extremely well. They had shot 54.8% from the field. But the Bulls dominated game 5, 119-106. And Jordan had a great performance, man. 46 points, 14 out of 23 from the field. You know, he was able to do whatever it is he wanted to do, and he was able to get the job done. Then comes game 6. After the Bulls win game 5, game 6. This is the game I remember very well, because Portland should have won this game. Portland started off very well as Michael Jordan went scores for the game's first 11 minutes. They had a 43-28 lead midway through the third quarter before Chicago went on a 16-7 run to cut the deficit to only 6. But Portland was dominating the second half, especially in the third quarter, when they built a 79-64 lead. So Phil Jackson went to his 4 reserves and Scottie Pippen to start the fourth quarter. And they ended up cutting the lead to 3 points with only 3 minutes left. And Jordan was on the bench while they was doing that, so give him credit. But if you Clyde Drexler, man, you're the man on that team, you find a way to send this series to game 7. We didn't do it. Don't know Troy Porter and the other players in the starting lineup and the team in general. So Jordan returned, had 2 steals, converted them to hoops, and gave Chicago a permanent lead. Defense will hold Portland to only 6 points in the final 4 minutes, and the Bulls won their second consecutive championship at that time. So that was just the beginning of the end for the Portland Trail Blazers for that 3-year stretch from 1990 to 1992. They should have won 3 in a row. And I think that they had to break up that core, because in the next 3 seasons the Blazers had to rebuild. They hired general manager Bob Whitsitt in 1994. They lost the core of their 1992 finals team to free agency and trades. Kevin Duckworth, went to play with the Bullets in the off season in 1993. Clyde Drexler, he ended up traded to the Houston Rockets. So it was time to just move on to, do better things, do different things as a franchise, because they had a 3-year window, the Portland Trail Blazers, to win 3 championships. They could have at least 2 of them in 1990 and 1992 respectively. But these Portland Trail Blazers just had a knack for not coming through in big spots. When you have the home court advantage in the 3 middle games and you don't take advantage of it, it comes back to bite you. And I think that's what happened to the Portland Trail Blazers teams in the early 90s, that they didn't take advantage of the home court that they took away from the opponent that they played against, whether it be Detroit, whether it be Chicago. when you go into your home floor after getting a split 1-1, and then you got those 3 middle games, and you don't play as particularly well, you don't take advantage of the home court. Because you look at it against the Pistons, they were 0-3 in those 3 games in 1990. Then they lose 2 out of 3 to the Bulls. So you do the math. They won 1 home game during those 2 finals appearances at home. That 1 game, that was Game 4 in the 92 NBA Finals. That was it. They lost 3 in 1990 to the Pistons, and they lose 2 games at home to the Bulls. So you do the math, they were what? 1-5. 0-3 in 90, 1-2 in 92. So they were 1-5 in their home court of Portland. And Portland had a great home court. The fans was loud. They were very, at a fever pitch. They were the ones that, made that team tough to deal with, because the home crowd and the players too, obviously. But the arena, the atmosphere, it was something about that time for the Blazers. Blazer Mania was in full effect, but they just didn't win the championship. And they haven't been back to the NBA Finals since. Now, there's a team in 2000, 20 years ago actually, that could have went to the NBA Finals. I'm going to get to that team down the line to talk about Portland. I'm going to get off Portland because I've done 1990 Portland Trail Blazers and 1991 Portland Trail Blazers and the 92 Portland Trail Blazers. So I'll talk about a different team tomorrow when I do this series on the best sports professional teams that didn't win the championship that's during that season series. So I'll do a new team tomorrow and keep it moving. So that concludes this video. Like, subscribe, comment. I'd like to thank one subscriber. I saw it today. I got a new subscriber. I don't know who the person is, but the person subscribed to my channel, so I got 4 subscribers now. So hopefully that continues to build up. I'm not surprised. I've done a lot of content. I got much more content to come. But support, subscribe, like, share, do whatever you can to support yours truly, Rashad Mitchell. So that concludes this video. I'll do one more video today. It'll be in the form of college football, and call it a day as far as the videos are concerned. So until then, talk to you soon.